Hello and welcome back to BIZ Inbox. I'm Em Burnham.
And I'm Sarah Davidson.
And the way these episodes work is that you submit a workplace or career dilemma to us via the link in our show notes, or you can DM us on our Instagram, Biz by Mamamia, and then we answer them here on our podcast. You can put your name on your dilemma if you want to, or you can remain completely anonymous. It is so up to you.
Today, we are unpacking some seriously relatable workplace drama that's going to hit close to home. We're talking sneaky work from home hacks that are going to make you rethink your Friday afternoons. And we're diving deep into the murky waters, oh my God, of work wives. Are they just harmless workplace friendships, or do they cross a line that makes partners uncomfortable? This one's definitely going to divide the room. I'm already feeling a bit divided in my brain. But first, Em, we've got someone who's gone from office hero to feeling like they can barely keep up.
We do. We have this DM sent in by Ellie. She got in touch with us and she said, I'm in a new role and everyone seems to be flying while I'm crawling. I used to be the one that others could ask for help. Now I'm Googling basic stuff and afraid to speak up. How do you survive the phase where you feel like the weakest link and not lose yourself in the process? This is really sad. I'm with you, Ellie. I feel
Oh,
this. I
Ellie.
feel this so deeply. I think to play devil's advocate, I genuinely don't think you're meant to enter any new role and feel like you're immediately soaring and doing so well. And if you do feel like that you are immediately soaring in your new role, I think you're going to get super bored super quickly because the whole point of being in a new role is that you're learning new skills, you're finding your place, you're learning how to develop yourself in the new role, and you're meant to grow with that role. It shouldn't be already established in a way where you feel like you're just nailing it straight up. So I think you give yourself some grace, Ellie.
100%. I don't know if I've mentioned this one before. I probably have because I force it down everyone's throats because I think it's such a valuable thing to remember. But there was a study done by Hewlett Packard. I can't remember. I'm going to butcher the actual official year that it was done and everything, but the crux of it was basically about when people do apply for promotions or new
Mm,
roles. And it's a mass generalization, so there are obviously exceptions to this rule, but basically, men would apply for a promotion when they had about 60% of the criteria, knowing very logically that once you get to a new role, as you said, Em, you're meant to be a little bit out of your depths because otherwise you'd just stay in the one that you had.
yeah.
And on the go, you learn the remaining 40%. So they apply at 60%. Women will wait not till they had 100% of the criteria, they wait until they have 110 plus. So not only are they qualified for the new role, they're overqualified because they are worried that they're not good enough or that when they do get to the role, there'll be that discomfort of not meeting all the criteria and more.
Mm,
And because of that, women will miss out, even if there was no other institutional inequalities, they will miss out on the promotion because men have already applied, like
yeah.
purely based on time. Men will think they're ready a little bit earlier. And I think there's something to be taken from that the whole point of stepping into something new is that you're meant to be uncomfortable. You're not meant to already have all the criteria when you get there. Otherwise, there'd be no point in taking the new position. You would have already mastered that level. The whole idea is that you do throw yourself into new levels of discomfort. And then obviously, as you learn, that position becomes more comfortable. But the whole crux of learning is discomfort. It is feeling a little bit out of your depth. It is Googling everything. And that's a sign that you've taken an amazing step. Like, I kind of think that uncomfortable feeling you're experiencing, Ellie, is a good thing. You should kind of embrace that.
You're just doing what every man already does.
Yeah, and that helps them get ahead, and that's I think we've got such a fear
Mm,
of feeling uncomfortable or ill-equipped or not ready. There's so much like, when you look at people's trajectories, I think the people who really get ahead are the ones who don't wait until they feel 100% ready. They're
that's
willing to
so
go
true.
through that yucky phase where they feel completely, scrambling, and they do feel like the weakest link, and part of it, I think, is just pretending that
Yeah.
you're more confident than you are, and, like,
Fake it
sometimes
till you make it.
100 it's a cliche for a reason.
Mm,
Or if you do really need help, people know you're new, ask for help.
yeah.
That's also not the sign of weakness that we sometimes think it is.
Yeah, especially if it's a new role that has completely new processes and stuff. Like, there are certain things that you have to learn on the go. Like, you're not just going to come in and know exactly how everything operates. But I would, yeah, exactly what you said, Sarah. Like, just give yourself some grace. Like, I think this is such a great opportunity. Also, there's a reason you're in this role. Like, people don't just hand out roles. So the leaders in your team picked you out of like so many other people, I'm sure, because I thought you were perfect for this role. And yeah, just don't be scared of that, because I think you're going to end up soaring and end up loving it, and it'll just take time.
100%. Remember that question we had a couple of weeks ago about how do you know if you get into a new role and it's only been 3 weeks and you already hate it?
Yeah,
Similarly, I think if you get into a new role and you are only 3 weeks in and you already know everything and you've already nailed everything and you're not feeling a little bit uncomfortable like there's novelty, then maybe it's not a big enough challenge.
that's so true. Okay. Our next question. We got this via email from Kate, and she said, I need some sneaky work from home hacks. I work from home Fridays, and now this is really interesting because here at Mamamia, we work from home on
Mm.
Fridays as well. So I wonder if Kate is within this company. No, I'm sure she's not. I work from home on Fridays, and I'm usually done by lunchtime. But my boss expects me to be available until 5 p.m., even when there's nothing left to do. What are your best tricks for looking busy when you're not? Scheduling emails to send later? Keeping teams active? Whatever you figured out. I'll get all my work done. I just want to enjoy my Friday Arvo without getting in trouble. Now, Kate, this is probably the lowest end of dilemmas we've ever received. I think it's one of the best dilemmas I've ever come across, because it feels like it's firstly not a dilemma at all. The one thing I will say is that do not tell your boss that you finished all your work by lunchtime. That is not what a boss wants to hear.
Or that you just wanna enjoy your Friday afternoon without getting in trouble. I feel like you can't vocalize that that is your aim of the game.
Yeah. My boss expects me to be available until 5 PM. Yeah, that makes sense to me. And
It's a weekday, it's a
available.
working day, babe. But do you know what? It does bring up a very interesting point that I'm actually really glad Katie raised it because as much as it's not the biggest dilemma we've heard,
Mhm.
it is sort of an example of the way that sometimes you are penalized for being efficient.
Yeah.
Sometimes you are sort of if you're faster, you actually just end up doing, double, triple the workload of your colleague, even though you're getting paid the same. And
Mm.
I found that when I was a lawyer, we were like our whole time structure, not so much now and not in every law firm, but traditionally, lawyers have always billed for every 6-minute unit of their time. All day, every day, you have to bill a client for every 6 minutes. So there can't be a 6-minute unit in your day that you don't know what you are working on. So to meet your budget, it was like, how many units did you have to meet? Which actually meant that if you were slower, you met your budget faster.
Yeah, right.
And if you were slower, you sort of made more bonuses.
Mm.
And if you were faster, exactly like Katie, you were disadvantaged because if you finish your work really quickly, then you'd be under your targets for billable hours. It'd look like you were not doing as much work when you were actually just doing it faster. So there was no incentive to go quicker. So I understand what she's saying, even though I wouldn't necessarily phrase it as I just want to finish my work quickly so I can have Friday Friday afternoon drinks
Yeah.
earlier. I do think that if you are extremely fast, part of the whole working from home era has been accepting that people don't have to necessarily be doing FaceTime sitting at a desk from 9 to 5 in order to get all their work done.
Yeah.
So maybe you can schedule emails. If you really do finish everything early in the morning and front load the day, maybe you can kind of schedule the submission of that work a little bit
Mhm.
more efficiently. I don't mean like work 9 till 12 and then just finish the day. Maybe you do have to be available if that's what you're getting paid for, but I think you can be a little bit strategic about not disadvantaging yourself just because 'cause you're fast.
Yeah, spread it out. Spread out the workload. I would say though, like, if you're scheduling in emails to send at 4:30 PM and
From 9 AM.
from 9 AM, and around 4:30 PM, you're also, like, at the bar with the girls, and then you get a reply at 4:32 of something you have to action, you have to go back and action.
Yes.
You have to, so just be aware, like, you can, I guess, work from home. If you finish all your work, like, great for you, but maybe just do, like, at home tasks, like your washing, cleaning up your house, like, doing your dishes. I would be wary of actually going out, like, be wary
Mm.
of how far you're pushing that on, like, how much you're actually doing, on a work day.
Yeah, if the expectation is that you will be available to action something if it did come in at 4:30, you probably need to be around.
Yeah,
Like
look around.
it's a hard one.
You don't answer the phone and there's, like, screaming and, like like, rave music in the background.
It's my neighbor.
It's
What? They're really loud. I live in an apartment
yeah,
building.
sorry, watching TV, it's a rave. I love watching raves on TV. Oh, what a good dilemma. Okay, our next one is an anonymous. It's an anonymous DM. We got this on our Instagram and it reads, "My husband has a work wife and I'm starting to feel uncomfortable about it. They chat constantly, grab coffee together, and have all these inside jokes I'm not part of. He talks about her all the time and says it's a normal work friendship, but it feels more than that to me. What even are work wives supposed to be? Is this just a trendy term for close work friendships, or does it normalize relationships that cross boundaries? Am I being paranoid, or is my gut telling me something's off here?" Oh, this is a good one.
Oh, this is so hard because I do think that there's something that's really familiar about
Mhm.
calling someone your work wife or work husband. And on the one hand, that kind of makes me feel extremely uncomfortable. On the other hand, I've also worked in environments where you're pulling really long hours and you're together all the time, going
Yeah.
absolutely delulu with this one other person. And you know their partner, you know their kids, like it is extremely platonic, but you're just spending so much time together that you naturally have all these in jokes and personal jokes, and
Yeah.
it doesn't mean anything. So it's a really difficult one because I see how these really close platonic relationships do come about, but I think if your partner is uncomfortable about it, perhaps I wouldn't put a label on it. I think
Yeah.
there's a way that you can navigate your partner's security or feeling of security around it. That isn't just like, "Deal with it. They're my work wife. Just deal with it." I think
Yeah.
if they're maybe being defensive, then that's probably where your gut's like, "Why are you being so defensive about that?"
That's the thing. I wanna know with this, anonymous person, is their husband how their husband reacts when they kind of put their concerns forward. Because I don't think it has anything to do with his work wife, I think it has to do with their relationship,
Mhm.
and obviously, she has a gut instinct that she doesn't feel comfortable with this work relationship between a husband and his friend at work, and I think that's something that you need to sort out with him and don't actually bring that other person in it because they are just a colleague. Like, they're literally just
Mhm.
a colleague with that label on it, and that colleague might not even know the intricacies of your relationship or might not even know, like, what you perceive as something that's unprofessional. They might be thinking, "Oh, this is not how we act actually." Like, it's been blown out of proportion. So I think just tread lightly, but I do think handle it with your husband first before you bring it as, like, a work issue, 'cause I don't think it is a work issue as yet.
Yeah, totally. And I also think the way that he deals with it before you sort of confronted him and explained how you feel
Mm.
versus after, that's where your gut will kind of guide you.
Yeah.
They don't need to apologize for having close colleagues, but if there's like a really compassionate, understanding response, like, "I'm so sorry, I didn't realize you felt that way. I just talk about them because I'm with them all the time,"
Yeah.
then you would obviously feel a lot less threatened. But if it was sort of like extreme defensiveness, that's where I think you'd listen to your gut a bit
Yeah.
more.
There's been, like, times in the past where I've gotten really close with some of my male colleagues, and I've met, like there was one where I went to a birthday party of one of my male colleagues, and I met his, wife, who he was engaged to at the time. And it was so interesting because she just knew so much about me, like, everything, like, I would tell him, and it just made me feel really good, like, it made me feel like, "Oh my god, he now, like, this cements the fact that we are actually friends, that he actually talks about me to, like,
Yeah.
his partner, like, the best person in the world," and I'm, like, hoping that this is the situation where it's more like, "Oh my god, I actually have a really great, great close friend at work, and now we're outside friends, and now, like, they really like talking about me and wanting me to meet, like, the people in their life. Like, I hope it's one of that. If it's more
Mm,
of a situation where he has his work wife that you've heard of and they're constantly messaging each other, but, like, you're never meeting her or something, then I feel like that's a bit weird.
mm,
But yeah, good
mm.
luck. I hope that conversation goes well.
And I also hope if anyone listening has any sort of insider tips on how they've managed a work wife or work husband situation
Yeah, have you ever
effectively,
had a work husband?
please DM us.
I wanna
I've
know.
had many. Yeah,
You've
I've
had
had
many?
many. And I think it comes from having worked, like I mentioned, in an environment where you're pulling really long hours together. So you're like eating dinner together
Mhm.
for weeks at a time. You're just your mass exposure to that one person when you're on a deal. When I was working in the law firm, it was mergers and acquisitions. So you'd work on a deal in really concentrated periods with just one or two
Yeah.
other people. And so you would get so familiar with them. You'd get familiar with how they order their food and what their toilet habits are. Like you just know them as well as you would know your partner. And at the same time, you're not seeing your partner a lot. So I think for me, I did feel like I needed to make my husband feel really comfortable about being
Mm.
at the office at 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. with this one other guy. And
Yeah.
part of that was sort of,
When you say that, it does sound quite weird, doesn't it? Like, I'm staying back,
yeah,
who are you staying with? Oh, just this one other guy at work. How long you staying till 10 p.m.?
yeah, and we're eating and there's no one else in the office, and it actually sounds really weird, but because knowing how platonic those situations were, I'm like, it's not always a red flag because some work
Mm.
situations do require that. It's just how you approach it with your partner to make sure that they don't feel like, especially because my husband has never worked in a corporate office. He was like, "I don't
Yeah,
understand what you mean. That's not normal to me." I'm like, "Because you've never worked, like you haven't seen this, but I promise you
I
I
promise
would
you.
come home if I was allowed, but I have to stay here. So let me make you
Yeah.
feel comfortable with this."
And I think it's all about, like, building that trust. Like, I think what you did with your partner is exactly what this anonymous person's husband should have done with her. Like, give her a full down low and debrief of, like, their work structure and, like, the expectations of the industry that he works in and stuff like that. Because it does all just come down to trust. And then if
Mhm.
that sounds reasonable to you, then that's probably, like, will make you feel so much better about the situation. But if there's still red flags and things that aren't adding up, then I think that's when you need to have